the ones often underestimated. But it's precisely this underestimation that can lead to grave consequences. Sigma males are not inherently bad. No, quite the opposite. They possess a deep well of peace and understanding. But tread lightly, for they have a hidden power, a dormant intelligence that can be unleashed when provoked. Buckle up as we embark on an exploration of the scary reasons why Sigma males are the most dangerous breed. But before we do, make sure you're subscribed to our channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss another thought-provoking video like this one. Don't be one of those who underestimate the Sigma. They're watching, and they're ready. Let's dive in. 1. They challenge the status quo. In a world dominated by alpha males and conventional norms, Sigma males emerge as unsung heroes, renegades marching to their own drumbeat. Their defiance against the status quo is electrifying, a testament to the power of individuality and the audacity to challenge society's script. Sigma males reject conformity, courageously defying societal norms like rebels in a storm. Their refusal to conform is a breath of fresh air, sweeping through the world. In a room of neatly lined puzzle pieces, Sigma males are the misfit, refusing to fit the pre-existing picture. They are the question mark in a world of exclamation points, the glitch in the matrix. 2. Sigma males tend to keep their emotions and thoughts to themselves, making them appear mysterious and unapproachable. In the enigmatic realm of personalities, a captivating archetype thrives: the Sigma male. They embody strength and silence, crafting an aura of mystery. Picture a figure cloaked in an enigma, a puzzle awaiting unraveling. The Sigma male excels at emotional restraint, concealing innermost thoughts and feelings, as if guarding a treasure chest of emotions from the world. This hallmark makes them an enigma few dare approach. In a world of emotional expression, Sigma males stand out. Their ability to keep emotions hidden can be seen as intimidating, navigating life with an unreadable poker face. But therein lies their allure. Beneath the emotional restraint lies an uncharted world, a tapestry of thoughts and feelings waiting to be unveiled by the determined. 3. Their actions and decisions are not easily deciphered, which can leave others feeling uneasy. Sigma males, enigmatic beings woven into the intricate fabric of humanity, defy convention and cloak themselves in an aura of enigma. They boldly break free from the chains of societal norms, presenting an alluring puzzle for keen observers. Unburdened by conformity, Sigma males become captivating enigmas, masterfully crafting their own life stories. Their inherent unpredictability serves as a magnetic force, as they steadfastly resist the grasp of conformity and steer clear of the dull monotony of routines. Those who watch in fascination struggle to decipher their intentions, often finding only elusive hints. This paradoxical nature stirs both excitement and unease. Interactions with Sigma males are exhilarating yet fraught with uncertainty, resembling a thrilling roller coaster ride into the unknown. 4. They rarely rely on others, which can be seen as a threat to those who value control. In a world that frequently celebrates conformity and collective conduct, the Sigma male stands out as a captivating mystery. Their essence revolves around self-sufficiency, setting them apart in a society that occasionally prioritizes uniformity over individuality. Sigma males possess an exceptional talent for navigating life's obstacles with a blend of self-reliance and inner resilience, personifying the archetype of the lone wolf as they forge a distinctive path through the intricacies of life. What truly sets Sigma males apart is their aversion to relying on external assistance. They shape their destinies, drawing upon their unwavering spirit and capable hands. 5. They won't just follow the herd, and this can challenge the established order. In a world defined by conformity, Sigma males emerge as captivating rebels who boldly defy societal expectations and chart their own unique course. These enigmatic individuals staunchly reject the pull of conformity, refusing to be mere pawns on society's chessboard. In the midst of pervasive groupthink, Sigma males remain resolute in embracing their individuality. Their nonconformity transcends mere quirkiness. It serves as a resounding declaration of independence, challenging the prevailing status quo and igniting curiosity in those around them. Whether within the structured confines of corporate offices or classrooms, they disrupt established norms, catalyzing an environment ripe for change. While some may find this disconcerting, for those who thrive in group settings, Sigma males become catalysts for challenging conventional thinking and initiating important and transformative conversations. 6. Sigma males tend to be resolute in their beliefs and choices. Amidst a world marked by trends and conformity, Sigma males shine as unwavering icons of self-determination. They possess an inner strength that serves as a counterforce against the prevailing winds of peer pressure, bewildering and captivating those who succumb to societal expectations. Sigma males, distinct from the crowd, remain resolute in their convictions and life choices. They seem to possess a unique, unshakable compass, steering through life's challenges without deviation. Their extraordinary ability to resist external influences is truly remarkable. Picture a Sigma male, impervious to popular opinion and the lure of conformity, standing tall like a solitary oak among willows, unwavering and authentic. Their determined character serves as a testament to their unswerving self-belief. 7. Sigma males typically guard their vulnerabilities and personal struggles closely. In the enigmatic realm of Sigma males, a captivating paradox emerges. Strength and vulnerability blend mysteriously, hidden beneath an impenetrable veil. These elusive, stoic individuals possess an uncanny talent for concealing their inner struggles, both intriguing and mystifying those attempting to unveil their mysteries. Sigma males protect their vulnerabilities and personal battles as if safeguarding a hidden treasure trove. Their intricate defenses make breaching emotional fortresses a formidable challenge. In a world thriving on emotional connections, they stand as formidable enigmas, leaving those seeking deeper bonds grappling in their wake. This reluctance to reveal their emotional map can unsettle those valuing emotional intimacy. Sigmas, like unsolved riddles, hint at depth while guarding their innermost layers. They teeter on the edge of vulnerability, yearning to share while preserving themselves. In the labyrinth of Sigma males, it's about understanding the delicacy and patience required to navigate their souls. To connect profoundly demands empathy and respect for their individuality. Ultimately, the allure of unraveling this enigma makes the quest to connect with Sigma males enticing. They are like unread books, and for those with the courage to turn each page, the revelations are captivating. 8. Sigma males tend to approach challenges and risks fearlessly. Within the enigmatic realm of masculinity, the Sigma male emerges as a captivating enigma. With unwavering determination and audacity, they set themselves apart from the crowd, inspiring both curiosity and awe. Picture the Sigma male at the edge of a daunting cliff, fearlessly gazing into the abyss of uncertainty. They're undeterred by the unknown. Instead, it beckons like a siren's call, and they venture forth where others hesitate. This fearlessness is not merely a trait, it's a magnetic force drawing them towards challenges. However, this audacity can leave those favoring a more cautious path quaking in their comfortable boots. The Sigma male's readiness to take risks challenges the status quo. While others contemplate potential pitfalls, the Sigma male has already leaped forward, demonstrating a lack of fear for consequences. Their audacious approach to life showcases resilience, adaptability, and indomitable spirit. The Sigma male embodies the notion that greatness arises from confronting fears, not running from them. They inspire others by unapologetically challenging the status quo and proving that in the face of adversity, the fearless are the ones who truly conquer life's grand adventure. There you have it, folks. The 8 scary reasons why Sigma males are often regarded as the most feared breed. Remember, while these traits can be intimidating, they can also be incredibly valuable. What are your thoughts on Sigma males? Share your opinions in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one.
Greetings, Sigmas. Let me open with a real story, one that doesn't just reveal the Sigma mindset, it defines it. Deep in the icy wilderness of the Russian Far East, where survival favors the ruthless, lived a man named Vladimir Markov, a poacher, a hunter, a man who made one fatal mistake. He shot a Siberian tiger. Wounded, the tiger disappeared into the shadows. Most would think the story ended there, but Sigma creatures don't forget, and they forgive lightly. Over the next 48 hours, this tiger didn't run, didn't hide. It tracked Markov silently, strategically. Not out of panic, but out of purpose. It waited outside his cabin. It destroyed anything with Markov's scent. It studied his patterns, and when the moment was right, it struck. Markov never stood a chance, not against a creature so calm, so calculating, so quietly lethal. Now pause. Imagine a man with that same presence, that same silence before the storm. That's a Sigma. Sigma males are not just different, they are. They don't yell, they don't chase, but when you cross the line, they won't just react. They'll outweight you and outmaneuver you. So if you think Sigmas are to be underestimated, think again, because once you ignite their fury, they don't just fight back, they finish the game. This video is not for the faint of heart. These are 7 chilling things Sigma males do when they finally lose their cool. Subscribe if you're ready to understand the silent power behind the lone wolf. Let's dive in. Number 1, the cold shutdown. When a Sigma gets fists, he throws silence. Let's break this down, not just dramatically, but psychologically and factually. When a Sigma male reaches his breaking point, you won't see fireworks. You'll hear nothing, no slamming doors, no raging texts. Just silence, deafening, intentional and permanent. The first dangerous thing he does? He shuts down completely. No more messages, no return calls, no explanations. He vanishes like smoke in the wind. Now, this isn't the same as emotional immaturity or running from problems, quite the opposite. Sigmas are known for their and. According to psychologist Daniel Goleman's framework of emotional intelligence, those who exhibit strong self-regulation, like Sigmas, tend to avoid impulsive actions. So when a Sigma cuts you off, it's not impulsive. It's the result of deep, quiet deliberation. This shutdown behavior isn't random. It's rooted in self-preservation. Sigmas value their peace more than attention, and when someone crosses a line repeatedly, they don't feel the need to argue. Not because they're weak, but because they're done giving access to those who misuse it. To outsiders, this might look like. But to a Sigma, it's a calculated disengagement, a silent message that says, you no longer qualify for my time. Unlike alphas who may confront with aggression, or betas who might seek resolution through appeasement, the Sigma's weapon is indifference. That's why it's so unsettling. He doesn't yell. He deletes, quietly, cleanly, and he doesn't second-guess it. Here's the scary part. While some people cool off and reconnect after a heated moment, Sigma males aren't interested in half-hearted apologies or guilt trips. Once he's emotionally checked out, the door is locked and welded shut. In a world that glorifies constant communication and emotional oversharing, the Sigma's cold silence is both powerful and terrifying. It teaches a hard lesson. Not everyone argues when they're hurt. Some just leave, and that silence is their loudest message. So if a Sigma disappears from your life, don't assume he's being dramatic. Understand, he tolerated more than he ever said, and now he's gone, forever. Number 2. He turns his back with zero guilt. When a Sigma male walks away, it's not a dramatic exit filled with yelling or broken plates. It's quiet, clean, final. And that's what makes it so powerful and dangerous. Unlike most people, Sigma males don't beg for closure. They're the closure. Let's unpack this. Sigma males are lone wolves by nature. They thrive on independence, emotional self-reliance, and mental clarity. According to psychologist Carl Jung's personality archetypes, Sigma types fall somewhere outside the traditional alpha and beta hierarchy. They operate by their own internal compass, which means they're not easily manipulated or emotionally entangled. So when they sense toxicity, be it lies, manipulation, disrespect, or betrayal, they don't try to fix it. They observe, they measure, they test you. And once they confirm a pattern, they quietly begin detaching. Here's the dangerous part. Sigmas don't cling to the of someone. They value reality over fantasy. So once someone crosses a line too many times, the Sigma male hits a switch. They gave you signals, grace, and second chances. You mistook their silence for weakness, but silence was the warning. When a Sigma is silent, he's processing, deciding, planning, then he disappears, not to punish, but to protect. This behavior is rooted in psychological resilience. Research shows that emotionally intelligent people, like Sigmas, know when a connection is harming their peace. Instead of spiraling, they reset. Instead of lashing out, they retreat, and don't expect them to come back. Sigmas don't look back, because looking back is for people who still care, who still hope. A Sigma's hope ends the moment he sees you value chaos more than connection. So if you ever find yourself wondering why he ghosted you, remember, it wasn't random. It was the final act in a play you didn't realize you were starring in. Sigmas don't crave revenge, they crave peace. And once their peace is threatened, they don't explain, they exit quietly, permanently. Number 3, he channels his anger into success. Here's the twist. Sigmas don't explode, they evolve. You see, the Sigma male operates on a different frequency. He doesn't blow up, scream, or seek petty revenge. That's not his style. When he's hurt, betrayed, or angered, he doesn't reach for retaliation, he reaches for transformation. Psychologically speaking, this response is rooted in something called the ability to convert intense emotions into focused energy. Sigmas have mastered this. Instead of lashing out, they level up. When angry, a Sigma doesn't pick fights, he picks up momentum. He channels that emotional energy into something productive. Studies show that people who practice self-regulation under stress, like Sigmas often do, experience better long-term mental health and goal achievement. So instead of wallowing, he rises. He hits the gym harder, not to show off, but to sharpen his discipline. He stacks his money, because financial independence is power. He builds skills, networks silently, and upgrades every aspect of his life while the world wonders what he's plotting. That girl who cheated, she becomes the reason he sets higher standards. That friend who lied? A lesson in boundaries and self-worth. The Sigma's revenge isn't loud, it's visible, and oh, is it powerful. He doesn't send angry texts or make dramatic exits, he just vanishes and reappears later, elevated. His silence echoes louder than any outburst. It says one thing. This is classic Sigma energy, rooted in stoicism, discipline, and delayed gratification. He knows success is the best response, not for the applause, not to prove a point, but to fulfill his own vision. So while others are fueled by conflict, Sigmas are fueled by growth. He doesn't lose sleep plotting revenge. He sleeps soundly knowing he's evolving into a version of himself that outgrows the pain. And that right there is what makes him lethal, not his rage, but his rise. Number 4, he unloads the truth without a filter. Sigmas usually keep their observations to themselves. They're the silent analysts in the room, the ones who don't react immediately but take note of everything, every glance, every contradiction, every hidden motive. While others are busy talking, Sigmas are watching, calculating, studying the patterns behind human behavior like a mental chess game. But what happens when a Sigma male finally gets angry? He lets the truth fly. And it doesn't come out as rage or chaos. No shouting, no name-calling. What comes out is far more brutal. Facts, cold, hard truth, delivered with calm precision. Because by the time a Sigma reaches his breaking point, he's already gathered the evidence. And when he speaks, he doesn't just react, he exposes every fake smile you gave, every backhanded compliment, every attempt at manipulation you thought went unnoticed, laid bare like a forensic report. And that's the scary part. You see, the Sigma male's brain is wired for deep observation. Psychologists refer to this as high cognitive empathy, the ability to read social dynamics without being emotionally entangled. It's not emotional outburst. It's emotional detachment paired with intellectual clarity. That's why when he finally talks, it hits different, it cuts, because it's not just his truth, it's truth, and people aren't ready for that. They're ready for yelling, they're used to drama, but they're not prepared for someone calmly dismantling their entire facade with surgical detail. No fluff, no emotion, just exposure. That's why Sigmas are dangerous when provoked. Not because they're violent, but because they're in a world built on appearances. A Sigma's silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. And when he finally speaks, people suddenly realize just how powerful and terrifying truth can be. So next time you think a Sigma isn't paying attention, think again, he's just collecting receipts. And when the time is right, he won't burn the bridge, he'll light it with facts. Number 5, he plans his exit years in advance. Here's the freaky part. If you've wronged a Sigma male, he's not going to explode in your face. There won't be yelling, no messy drama, no back and forth arguments. In fact, he might even smile. He'll nod, say, "It's all good," and carry on like nothing happened. But don't be fooled. That silence, that's the quiet before the storm. You see, Sigma males are wired differently. They're strategic, emotionally disciplined, and deeply introspective. So when they get hurt or betrayed, their first instinct isn't to lash out. It's to retreat and analyze. They'll wait, they'll observe, they'll take mental notes, catalog every detail, and calmly design their next move like a grandmaster in a chess match. While you're thinking everything is back to normal, he's already 2 steps ahead, silently building his exit plan, and then one day, without warning, he vanishes, gone from the job, gone from the relationship, gone from the group chat. No goodbyes, no closure, no explanation, just silence. Like a shadow in the night, he disappears. And he leaves no trail, no digital breadcrumbs, nothing to follow. People who've crossed him are left stunned. What happened? Why did he just cut me off? But by then it's too late. This calculated disappearing act isn't just some random behavior, it's rooted in psychology. It's a classic example of the Sigma males. Instead of investing energy in conflict, they invest it in planning their freedom. It's efficiency over emotion. Even in nature, we see parallels. Wolves, known for their Sigma-like traits, rarely retaliate instantly. They back off, assess the situation, and then strike or slip away when it suits them, not when others expect it. So if a Sigma male walks away from you without warning, chances are he already walked away from you emotionally weeks or months ago. You just didn't see the signs, and that's what makes them so unsettling, so unpredictable. Lesson here, never mistake a Sigma's silence for submission. He might be quiet, but trust me, he's not passive. He's just patient, and patience is the scariest weapon in a Sigma's arsenal. By the time you realize he's gone, he's already thriving somewhere else, and you're just part of the past he planned to escape from. Number 6, he sets a new standard that excludes you. When a Sigma male gets mad, he doesn't throw tantrums. He doesn't scream, shout, or make a scene. His fury isn't loud, it's transformative. See, most people express anger outwardly. They want others to feel their rage. But a Sigma, he takes that fire and forges a new version of himself. Anger becomes his architect. When he's hurt, betrayed, or disrespected, he doesn't waste time plotting revenge. He reinvents his boundaries. And here's the kicker. He builds a life so upgraded, so elevated, so full of purpose and clarity that the very people who once mistreated him no longer qualify to exist within it. This isn't just emotional survival, it's strategic evolution. Psychologically speaking, Sigma males fall into the introverted alpha category. They rank high in self-awareness, autonomy, and emotional intelligence. So when they're pushed to their limit, they don't spiral, they recalibrate. Boundaries are tightened, standards are raised. Their circle, it shrinks, not from bitterness, but from alignment. They start to surround themselves with people who mirror their growth, not their past wounds. And the ones who cross them replaced. Not with spite, but with silence, peace, focus, purpose. Think about it. Most people fight back to prove a point. A Sigma male doesn't need to prove anything. He the point. His success, his discipline, his transformation, that's the response. That's the ultimate flex. It's no wonder psychologists describe boundary reinforcement as a sign of emotional maturity. In one study from the University of California, it was shown that individuals who restructure their social environments after emotional pain often experience greater resilience, personal development, and long-term satisfaction. That's what Sigma males do instinctively. Instead of reacting emotionally, they redirect energy into upgrading their mindset, health, wealth, and vision. It's not about erasing the past. It's about evolving beyond it. They hit the gym harder, they meditate longer, they read, build, create, and elevate until the old version of themselves is unrecognizable. Their anger becomes a quiet teacher, not a chaotic destroyer. So if you've ever wondered what happens when a Sigma finally snaps, don't expect fireworks. Expect silence. Expect changes so sharp, so intentional that his presence feels like a different frequency. One that doesn't tolerate nonsense. One that demands excellence. Because for the Sigma male, it's not about revenge. It's about evolution. He doesn't seek to bring others down. He rises so high that they can't reach him anymore. That's the Sigma way. Number 7, he disappears, then returns unrecognizable. The final form of Sigma rage isn't destruction, it's rebirth. When most people get angry, they lash out, they argue, they post cryptic quotes on social media. But not the Sigma male. His reaction is different, dangerously different. He disappears, no dramatic exits, no emotional outbursts, just silence. Complete radio silence. He stops answering texts, stops showing up, no updates, no stories, no status posts. He doesn't need to announce a thing because Sigma rage doesn't crave attention, it craves evolution. You see, Sigma males process betrayal and frustration with surgical precision. While others spiral into chaos, Sigmas go inward. This is a man who doesn't waste energy trying to prove a point in the moment. He steps back, assesses the damage, and uses the pain as fuel. Months pass. People start to wonder, where did he go? They might assume he's struggling, but what they don't realize is he's been in the lab, not a physical one, but a mental, spiritual, and emotional gym. He's been breaking himself down, examining his weaknesses, and rebuilding brick by brick. And then one day, he returns. No warning, no reintroduction, just presence. But he's not the man you remember. He's richer. Not just financially, though that's often part of it, but mentally and emotionally. He's stronger. His boundaries are solid, his mission is clearer, his energy is untouchable. And most striking of all, he's colder, not bitter, just detached. Detached from the old versions of himself that used to settle, that used to explain, that used to beg for understanding. That version no longer exists. And here's the part that stings. He didn't come back for revenge. He didn't come back to flex. He came back because he no longer fits where he was. What was meant to break him ended up forging him. The storm you brought, it didn't drown him, it baptized him. Psychologists call this post-traumatic growth, a phenomenon where individuals come out of adversity not only healed, but enhanced. Stronger relationships, a deeper sense of purpose, personal strength, all markers of someone who used hardship as a catalyst for greatness. This is the Sigma's secret weapon. His silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. His absence isn't retreat, it's preparation. And when he reemerges, he's not seeking validation, validation. You can't reach him anymore. Not because he blocked you, but because he outgrew you. The version of himself that tolerated poor treatment, lowered his standards, or doubted his worth. That version died, and in its place rose a Sigma who's sharper in mind, clearer in purpose, and colder to the nonsense he used to entertain. This is Sigma rage at its most powerful form, not loud, not violent, but transformative. So if a Sigma male disappears, don't assume he's gone. Understand he's becoming. And when he returns, you won't even recognize the man who walked away. Because the final form of Sigma rage was never about destruction. It was always about rebirth. Sigma's anger isn't always loud, sometimes it's strategic, and that's exactly what separates you from the rest. In a world that celebrates dramatic outbursts and attention-seeking tantrums, Sigma males choose a different path, one built on control, redirection, and inner mastery. Psychology calls this the process of converting intense emotional energy like anger into productive action. Studies from the American Psychological Association show that people who regulate their anger effectively tend to experience enhanced concentration, improved memory, and stronger problem-solving skills. Translation? Anger, when harnessed, becomes a superpower. Sigmas don't rage for show. They don't flip tables or shout in traffic. Instead, they take that boiling emotion and forge it into something useful. A better business plan, a new boundary, a sharper physique. That insult you threw at a Sigma, he used it to fuel his next level up. Let's look at Michael Jordan, one of the greatest athletes ever and a true Sigma at heart. When he was cut from his high school basketball team, he didn't complain, he didn't spiral. He trained like a machine day and night and turned rejection into domination. That wasn't just determination, that was refined, focused, Sigma-level rage. So if you're simmering right now, good, that heat has a purpose. Channel it, write down your mission, hit the gym, start that project, don't explode, evolve. Because the world doesn't need another man who loses control. It needs a Sigma who, and lets it light the path forward. If this message reminds you of who you are or who you're becoming, hit that like button, subscribe, and join this tribe of focused minds. Wolves walk alone, but they don't walk aimlessly. Stay sharp, stay disciplined, stay Sigma. He doesn't storm into rooms, he slips in, quiet, calculated, unbothered. No handshakes, no small talk, no masks. And for that, people hate him. But not for the reasons you might think. The Sigma male isn't loud, flashy, or eager to be noticed. In fact, he's the opposite. He is the embodiment of silence in a world addicted to noise. This man doesn't chase validation, and he certainly doesn't ask for permission. He walks through life like a ghost in broad daylight, seen but not truly known, and it drives people mad. Why? Because the Sigma male breaks the unspoken social contract, the one that says you must constantly prove yourself to others. He doesn't play by society's rules, not out of rebellion, but out of sheer disinterest. While others broadcast their lives online, counting likes and followers as proof of worth, the Sigma remains a mystery, a man unplugged from the algorithm. Psychologists have noted that humans are hardwired to respond to social cues. And when someone doesn't mirror back the expected behaviors, smiling on command, making small talk, showing deference, it triggers discomfort and even hostility. That's why the Sigma's quiet defiance isn't just misunderstood, it's feared. His habits, solitude, independence, emotional control shine a light on everyone else's dependency, insecurity, and performative personas. And when someone doesn't beg to be liked, it threatens those who live for approval. That's why the Sigma male isn't just disliked, he's resented. His presence is a walking contradiction to everything people have been conditioned to admire. And it exposes something deeper, that maybe we've been taught to chase the wrong things. This video isn't about surface-level charm or charisma, it's about the truth, the raw, inconvenient truth. The very habits that make Sigma males so powerful are the same ones that make others uncomfortable. Not because they're wrong, but because they force people to confront their own weaknesses. So sit still, we're going deep. Habit 1, when presence feels like rejection. The modern world is designed to hijack your attention. Every app is meticulously crafted to trigger dopamine hits, making you crave likes, swipes, and endless scrolling. Brands spend billions to make you feel incomplete without their product. Social media influencers transform personal moments into performances, choreographing authenticity for views. In the middle of this digital circus where noise is currency and visibility is power, the Sigma male steps back. He doesn't dance for algorithms or plead for relevance. He's not interested in broadcasting his breakfast or arguing in comment sections. Instead, he observes silently, strategically. He disappears from group chats, not out of rudeness, but out of rebellion, rejecting the unspoken demand to be constantly available. He skips the party not because he's shy, but because he values substance over spectacle. And when he does walk away, it's without a dramatic exit or lingering goodbyes. That silence, it's deafening to those who need constant reassurance. His absence becomes a mirror, reflecting others' insecurities. People don't hate the Sigma because he's distant. They hate that he's immune to the system they've surrendered to. In a world addicted to validation, his indifference is revolutionary. Society tries to frame him as antisocial, broken, or cold because labeling him makes him easier to dismiss. But the truth is, he's not playing their game, he's playing his own. Research in psychology has shown that people who are less dependent on external validation tend to be more emotionally resilient and self-aware. The Sigma embodies this, functioning with an internal compass rather than a crowdsourced map. His detachment isn't apathy, it's a conscious boundary. He's not hostile, he's just free. And that freedom in a world built on conformity is terrifying, because the moment you stop needing the crowd is the moment you realize how much control they had. The Sigma male has already realized this. He's not here to be liked, he's here to be real, and that alone makes him dangerous in a society addicted to performance. Habit 2, indifference is his armor. People often misunderstand the Sigma male because he doesn't operate like the rest. His calm demeanor is mistaken for coldness, his silence for arrogance, and his emotional detachment for disrespect, but nothing could be further from the truth. Internally, the Sigma is not wrestling with the need to be liked or validated. There is no internal chaos demanding external comfort. He's not chasing the highs of applause or running from the lows of criticism. What lies beneath his still surface is a rare form of self-mastery, emotional sovereignty. Studies in psychology confirm that individuals with high emotional intelligence are less reactive and more resilient under pressure. And the Sigma embodies this to the extreme. He moves through conflict with surgical precision, addressing problems not with raised voices or flared tempers, but with calm decisions and calculated boundaries. He doesn't lash out because he doesn't need to. That kind of control, especially in high-stakes or emotionally charged situations, can be unnerving to those who are ruled by impulse and emotion. People who haven't developed that level of inner discipline often find his composure threatening. So they call it cold. They call it robotic. They call it disgusting. But what they really mean is intimidating. Because in a society where emotional reaction is currency, where drama, outrage, and vulnerability are traded like likes and retweets, his refusal to play along is seen as rebellion. He doesn't crumble when ignored. He doesn't beg for attention, and he certainly doesn't compromise his peace to soothe someone else's chaos. He isn't heartless. He simply isn't governed by emotional storms. That's a level of independence most don't understand, and yet paradoxically, it's what draws people in. There's strength in his silence, power in his restraint. In a culture saturated with oversharing and overreacting, the Sigma stands apart. He's proof that you don't have to be loud to be powerful, and you don't have to be seen to be in control. His detachment isn't rejection, it's refinement. It's the result of years spent mastering the inner world while others were distracted by the outer one. In a world addicted to emotional reactions, the Sigma's calm is not a flaw, it's a threat. And deep down, they know it. Habit 3. He exposes the performers. In social settings, Sigma males do something deceptively simple, yet undeniably dangerous. They listen, they watch, they calculate. While others compete for attention, status, or validation, the Sigma remains silent, observant, and disengaged from the social rat race. This isn't passivity, it's power in its quietest form. The Sigma male doesn't need to assert dominance because he dismantles the very framework that demands it. When the loudest man in the room boasts about his achievements, the Sigma offers no applause or rivalry, only a calm, unreadable gaze. When a manipulator spins their web of control, the Sigma doesn't argue or react. He simply removes himself from the trap, exposing the manipulator's game without a word. His silence becomes unsettling because it doesn't offer the emotional feedback people crave. Psychologically, humans are wired to seek acknowledgement, to test their power against others. The Sigma denies them that satisfaction, and in doing so, he becomes a mirror, one that reflects not admiration but insecurity. This is why many find the Sigma male unnerving. He operates outside the traditional social hierarchy, where alpha males dominate and betas submit. In fact, psychologist Robert Hogan's socioanalytic theory explains that most people are driven by a need to get along and get ahead. The Sigma violates both. He doesn't strive to belong and he doesn't chase status. Yet paradoxically, his independence becomes magnetic. People can't ignore him, and that breeds resentment. His refusal to play by society's rules feels like rebellion, especially in a world obsessed with visibility and performance. His power lies in detachment. While others are busy strategizing their next move in the social chess game, the Sigma is already 3 moves ahead, or not even playing the game at all. This psychological distance allows him to observe motives, read intentions, and dismantle manipulative structures with surgical precision. He doesn't need to dominate the room to own it. His quiet presence challenges the very foundation of social power, and that in itself is threatening. People hate him not because he tries to win, but because he doesn't try at all, and still leaves a lasting impact. In a society addicted to noise, the Sigma's silence is revolutionary and dangerous. Habit 4. Mastery offends the mediocre. Most people today are addicted to distraction, and not by accident. In a world engineered for instant gratification, the average person scrolls, swipes, and refreshes their way through life, chasing fleeting hits of dopamine from social media, gossip, and superficial entertainment. It's a mental diet of junk food. And just like poor nutrition ruins the body, poor mental input sabotages growth. But the Sigma male is wired differently. He doesn't chase dopamine, he chases discipline. While others binge-watch shows or endlessly check their notifications, the Sigma is building. He's learning a new skill, refining his craft, investing in silence, and making invisible gains that compound over time. He doesn't seek validation from others. He's too focused on validating his own potential. This quiet dedication makes him both admirable and threatening. Not because he brags about his progress, he doesn't. In fact, his success is often invisible until it becomes undeniable. He simply becomes unreachable, not because he looks down on others, but because he's operating on a frequency few are willing to tune into, mentally, financially, and spiritually. And as his life begins to transform, people take notice, but not in celebration. Instead, they whisper, "He's just lucky. He's weird. He's full of himself." But deep down, their criticisms are a defense mechanism, a way to excuse their own complacency. The Sigma's very existence is a quiet indictment of their wasted potential. He represents what they could have become had they chosen focus over distraction, discipline over indulgence, purpose over popularity. His life becomes a mirror they can't escape, reflecting the reality they've avoided. That's why they hate him, not for what he says, but for what he silently reminds them. They're choosing stagnation while he chooses growth. And in a society that rewards noise and punishes solitude, the Sigma male's refusal to conform is both rebellious and powerful. He's not addicted to distractions. He's addicted to becoming the man he was always meant to be. Habit 5, disappearing without explanation. The Sigma male doesn't make a scene when he leaves. He doesn't slam doors or send dramatic texts. He simply vanishes, without warning or explanation. To many, this behavior feels cold or dismissive, but in truth it has nothing to do with cruelty. It's self-preservation. The Sigma is wired differently. He doesn't thrive on social validation or external reassurance. Instead, he operates from a deeply internal compass, and when he senses imbalance, manipulation, or emotional noise, his instinct is to retreat, not to hurt, not to punish, but to recharge, reassess, and protect his peace. His silence is not a declaration of war. It's an act of quiet rebellion against the chaotic pull of modern interpersonal expectations. Yet for those left behind, his exit feels like abandonment. Why? Because in a world obsessed with attention, validation, and being seen, the Sigma's withdrawal acts like a mirror. It reflects just how dependent many have become on external affirmation. Ghosting, a term often associated with immaturity or disrespect, takes on a different meaning when viewed through the Sigma lens. It's not a tactic, it's a philosophy. While others demand closure and explanations, the Sigma sees no need to explain what he didn't disrupt. His departure is not an attack, it's an alignment with authenticity. And this calm detachment, this complete indifference to dramatic farewells, hits harder than any argument. In fact, studies in psychology suggest that emotional ambiguity, such as a sudden, unexplained withdrawal, can be more psychologically distressing than overt conflict. It leaves the other person spiraling in self-doubt, not because of the Sigma's cruelty, but because of their own unhealed need for validation. The Sigma doesn't seek to sting, but the silence speaks louder than confrontation ever could. And that's what truly unsettles people, not the distance itself, but the realization that they were never as necessary to him as they thought. His world doesn't crumble without them. He doesn't beg for understanding. He just moves quietly, powerfully, and on his own terms. That is the essence of Sigma detachment. Not bitter, but deliberate. Not emotional manipulation, but energetic recalibration. And in a society addicted to noise, his silence is louder than thunder. Habit 6, speaking only when necessary. The Sigma male is allergic to small talk, not in the literal medical sense, of course, but in the way a minimalist reacts to clutter. It irritates him, bores him, and drains him. Unlike others who feel the need to fill silence with idle chatter just to avoid the discomfort of stillness, the Sigma male treats silence like a canvas, not a void. He doesn't speak to validate himself, to prove his worth, or to curry favor. He speaks when he has something to say, deliberate, calculated, and purposeful. This is not a matter of arrogance, but of authenticity. His communication is rooted in substance over style and depth over decoration. But to the average observer, his reserved demeanor can feel cold, standoffish, or even robotic. That's because we live in a culture that often equates verbal fluency with friendliness and silence with judgment. The Sigma male breaks that code entirely. Research in psychology confirms that people with introverted or highly independent temperaments like the Sigma archetype tend to find small talk not just tedious but cognitively taxing. It's not that they can't engage, they simply choose not to waste energy on conversations that don't move the needle. And that choice unsettles people. In a world dominated by noise, where everyone's broadcasting their thoughts and opinions 24/7, silence is often mistaken for disdain. But for the Sigma male, silence is strength. It's discipline. It's a filter that guards his energy, allowing him to invest his attention into ideas, pursuits, and people that actually matter. While others scatter their words like confetti, hoping something sticks, he treats his words like arrows, few, precise, and aimed with intent. In this sense, his quiet presence becomes a kind of rebellion against the performative noise of modern life. And paradoxically, that silence speaks louder than any sales pitch or social performance ever could. It's not that he's trying to insult anyone, he just refuses to speak unless his words carry weight. Habit 7, pursuing purpose, not popularity. He doesn't network, he aligns. In a world obsessed with constant self-promotion, handshakes, and status-driven circles, the Sigma male operates on a different frequency. He doesn't chase connections for clout. He seeks alignment of purpose, values, and vision. This is not arrogance, it's intentional living. While most people attend events, collect business cards, and trade authenticity for acceptance, the Sigma male works in silence to make himself undeniable. He doesn't shout his potential, he proves it. And this right here is what unsettles others. Society often rewards performative behavior over substance, but the Sigma's strength lies in doing the exact opposite. He isn't interested in playing the popularity game. His self-worth isn't dependent on being liked, validated, or praised. According to psychological studies, individuals with strong internal motivation, like Sigma personalities, are more likely to experience long-term fulfillment and resilience. This makes the Sigma male dangerous in the eyes of a conformist world because he doesn't need the approval of others to act. His goals are not sculpted by Instagram trends, peer pressure, or applause. He has a clear inner compass that guides his mission, often forged in solitude, hardship, and fierce independence. While others gravitate toward the crowd for safety and identity, he moves toward clarity, of thought, of purpose, of soul. Crowds can be noisy and chaotic. Clarity, on the other hand, is rare and earned. He builds while others scroll. He reflects while others react. This is not just a different habit, it's a different blueprint for life. And people don't just fail to understand it, they fear it. Why? Because it exposes their own dependency on external validation. It forces them to confront the uncomfortable truth that the loudest in the room is rarely the strongest. The Sigma male isn't antisocial, he's selectively social. He doesn't crave attention, he commands respect. And perhaps the scariest part, he does it all without asking for permission. In a world addicted to being seen, the Sigma male has mastered the art of becoming unforgettable without ever needing to be loud. Habit 8, rejecting manipulation instantly. The Sigma spots manipulation like smoke in a room, swift, subtle, and suffocating if unnoticed. Whether it's guilt-tripping disguised as concern, gaslighting masked by confusion, or flattery laced with ulterior motives, the Sigma male doesn't fall for it, not because he's cold-hearted, but because he's emotionally intelligent and mentally unshakable. You see, the Sigma operates from a place of inner clarity. He's studied human behavior intentionally or intuitively, and understands that manipulation thrives on emotional reaction. The manipulator's toolbox relies on getting a rise out of their target: confusion, defensiveness, anger, and neediness. But the Sigma offers none of these. He doesn't bite the bait, he doesn't argue to set the record straight, nor does he beg to be understood. Instead, he simply disengages. His silence is not a lack of awareness, it's a calculated move. Psychology tells us that manipulation loses its power when it is not rewarded with attention or emotion. The Sigma lives by this law. He stays calm, observes patterns, and when the signs become clear, he detaches. Manipulators hate him for this, because their power dissolves in the face of emotional neutrality. While most people are pulled into the manipulator's game, trying to explain themselves, defending their worth, or trying to fix the situation, the Sigma does the opposite. He exits, quietly, cleanly, effectively. This behavior is rooted in what some psychologists refer to as gray rocking, a technique where one becomes so emotionally unresponsive that the manipulator loses interest. But for the Sigma, this isn't a trick, it's a lifestyle. His minimal attachment to social validation gives him the freedom to walk away from toxic dynamics without second-guessing himself. He doesn't seek closure. He doesn't need to win. His win is peace. And so, while manipulators create storms, the Sigma walks in with a barometer and a parachute. He doesn't just survive manipulation, he makes it obsolete. The game ends before it even begins because he refuses to play. In a world that rewards reaction, his stillness is rebellion. In an arena where manipulators feed on emotional drama, the Sigma offers only one thing: ice-cold awareness. He's not angry. He's not bitter. He's just gone. And by the time the manipulator realizes they have no strings to pull, the Sigma is already halfway across the mental map, exploring higher ground where peace and purpose, not power plays, are the currencies of value. The Sigma male doesn't set out to be disliked. He simply lives as his most authentic self. He doesn't conform, doesn't flatter, and certainly doesn't beg for validation. In a world addicted to likes, masks, and shallow approval, his quiet defiance becomes an unspoken rebellion. Psychologically, this self-possession can trigger insecurity in others because it reflects a freedom they secretly crave but fear to pursue. People don't hate him for doing wrong, they resent him for doing what they're too afraid to do, live unfiltered. So while others judge or gossip, the Sigma watches, adapts, and evolves, alone, unnoticed, and unforgettable. He doesn't chase, he doesn't explain, he simply sets the boundary and watches what crosses it. In a hyper-connected world obsessed with attention and approval, the Sigma male is an enigma. You won't find him posting thirst traps or obsessing over replies. He operates in silence, moves with intention, and holds an internal compass that doesn't sway with trends or validation. This is precisely what makes him magnetic. Psychologically, boundaries are a form of self-respect, and the Sigma male has mastered this art. He doesn't set boundaries to manipulate, he sets them to protect his peace. Modern psychology supports that clear personal boundaries promote mental well-being, emotional independence, and healthy relationships. The Sigma male doesn't just understand this, he embodies it. When he withdraws, it's not a power play, it's a calibration of energy. He knows his value and doesn't hand it out like flyers on a street corner. This restraint, this rare blend of emotional discipline and mystery, creates a gravitational pull. Women feel it, not because he overwhelms them with attention, but because he doesn't. In an age where oversharing is the norm, his quiet control feels like an oasis. He's not cold, he's composed. He's not detached, he's deliberate. And the moment someone tries to cross a line, whether it's disrespect, manipulation, or chaos, he doesn't react with drama. He simply exits. That's power. Not the kind you flaunt, but the kind you feel. His boundaries are not walls to keep others out, but filters to let the right people in. And that subtle distinction is everything. Women don't chase Sigma males because they're emotionally unavailable. They're drawn to them because they're emotionally sovereign. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about being hard to disturb. In a noisy world, the Sigma male's silence speaks louder than 1,000 words. And once you've heard it, you never forget the sound. Boundary 1. Access is earned, not given. He doesn't respond to every call, every text, or every emotional plea for attention, and that silence, far from being a cold shoulder, speaks volumes. This isn't about arrogance or playing hard to get. It's about establishing psychological boundaries that communicate value. A Sigma male's time is guarded like a rare currency, and his energy isn't dispensed just because someone demands it. This kind of restraint sends a powerful, often subconscious message to a woman. In psychology, this ties closely with the scarcity principle, a cognitive bias where we tend to assign more value to things that are less available. When he doesn't instantly respond or react, it doesn't convey disinterest. It builds mystery and raises his perceived worth. Women instinctively pick up on this. His absence creates space for desire to grow and for curiosity to intensify. She begins to wonder what he's doing, who he's with, and why he's not instantly available like others might be. And in that wondering, attraction brews. Evolutionary psychology also plays a role here. Throughout history, individuals who exuded self-sufficiency and control have been viewed as high status, traits that signal strength, stability, and security. By not making her the center of his universe, he's subtly showing that he doesn't hurt her to feel complete. And paradoxically, that independence makes her want to be a part of his world even more. It's a dynamic that reverses the chase. Instead of begging for attention, he sets the tone, and she leans in. His presence becomes something to earn, not assume, and that shift is magnetic. In a world addicted to instant responses and constant digital noise, the Sigma male's restraint is like a breath of fresh air, cool, controlled, and unmistakably attractive. His silence is not absence, it's a boundary, and boundaries, when held with confidence, don't repel. They captivate. Boundary 2, he doesn't enter emotional chaos. Drama, manipulation, and emotional roller coasters, these are the weapons often used in the battlefield of emotional control. But the Sigma male doesn't engage. He sees them clearly, names them for what they are, and steps around them like a man walking through a minefield, careful not to trigger an explosion. Unlike most men who might take the bait and get drawn into endless debates, toxic confrontations, or gaslighting spirals, the Sigma operates on an entirely different frequency. His response is not rage, retaliation, or justification. It's absence. His boundary is not enforced through shouting or ultimatums. It's enforced through silence. This is not avoidance. It's strategic disengagement. Psychology calls this a gray rock technique, used by emotionally intelligent individuals to remain unreactive in the face of manipulation. When someone thrives on attention and chaos, the most effective weapon against them is indifference. The Sigma knows this instinctively. His silence is louder than words. It creates space for truth to echo. His absence is not a retreat, it is a statement, one that says, "Wait, I do not entertain dysfunction." For women accustomed to reactive partners, this silence is deafening. It confronts them with their own behavior. It removes the drama supply chain. And in that vacuum, the Sigma's exit stings more than any heated argument ever could. Neuroscience backs this up. When emotional stimuli are removed abruptly, the brain experiences a kind of withdrawal. It's not the closure she expected, it's the mirror she never wanted to look into. The Sigma male doesn't burn bridges. He simply crosses them quietly, with dignity, and doesn't look back. His absence becomes presence. His silence becomes a message. And in that moment, she doesn't just lose the argument, she loses access. That's what makes the Sigma's boundaries so powerful. They're not written in words, but in actions, not declared, but demonstrated, and once they're enforced, they leave no room for negotiation. Boundary 3, he does not abandon his mission. She might want more time, more commitment, more compromise. But the Sigma male operates on a different frequency, one that prioritizes purpose over pleasure and mission over momentary desire. This isn't about arrogance or emotional detachment, it's about living in alignment with one's inner compass. The Sigma male is deeply focused on his goals, whether they involve building a business, mastering a craft, or transforming his body and mind. Psychology backs this up. Studies in evolutionary biology show that women are often attracted to men with clear ambition and purpose. It signals stability, leadership, and confidence, qualities that hint at long-term survivability and success. When a man is unshakably focused, it creates a gravitational pull that doesn't just command attention, it earns respect. A Sigma doesn't ask for validation. His discipline speaks for itself. And in a world full of men eager to please, his refusal to compromise on his path sets him apart. This doesn't mean he lacks the ability to love or commit, but his boundaries are firm. He will not water himself down to fit into a relationship that doesn't respect his drive. In fact, his restraint is what makes him magnetic. Women may initially feel frustrated by his emotional distance or the way he disappears into his passions, but deep down, many admire the unwavering vision. They might not admit it openly, but it's that very discipline that separates him from the crowd. He becomes more than just a man. He becomes a force of nature. Like a mountain that doesn't move for storms, he remains rooted in purpose. And because he does not chase, he is often the one being pursued. That doesn't make him heartless, it makes him rare. In a society where people often sacrifice their dreams to maintain comfort, the Sigma male is a reminder that greatness demands solitude, focus, and sometimes even loss. His path isn't easy. It's filled with long nights, isolation, and choices others won't understand. But he knows. A man who abandons his mission for momentary affection will eventually lose both. So while she may ask for more of him, he remains committed first to the fire inside him. And ironically, it's that very commitment that draws others to his flame. Boundary 4, he refuses to be defined by her expectations. He won't become what she fantasizes. He won't act out a role. He shows up as he is, unfiltered, unapologetic. And that self-possession is intoxicating. What makes this so magnetic is the way it defies a deeply ingrained social pattern. In modern relationships, especially in the age of social media and hyper-personal branding, many people subconsciously perform. They mold themselves into idealized versions, curated for approval, validation, or admiration. But a Sigma male refuses to play that game. He doesn't twist himself into her fantasy or rewrite his personality to gain favor. His identity is not a script to be edited for someone else's expectations. Psychology refers to this as authenticity, a trait that's been linked to higher emotional intelligence, confidence, and even greater relationship satisfaction. And ironically, it's this refusal to conform that becomes so captivating. Why? Because humans are drawn to mystery and confidence. When a man doesn't seek approval, he communicates that his worth is innate, not dependent on outside affirmation. This creates a paradoxical effect. The more indifferent he is to impressing her, the more intriguing he becomes. It's what psychologists call the scarcity principle. People value what seems rare, and authenticity in today's world is rare. When she realizes she can't control the narrative, when he doesn't bend to her expectations, doesn't chase, doesn't over-explain or over-apologize, she begins to feel the gravitational pull of his grounded presence. It challenges her, maybe even frustrates her, but it also fascinates her. She may test him, try to provoke an emotional performance, or attempt to draw out reactions, but his centered calm remains. He doesn't retaliate or retreat. He simply exists with unshaken composure, like a mountain amid shifting winds, and that steadiness creates psychological safety, even in its unpredictability. She doesn't know what move he'll make next, but she knows he won't compromise who he is. This isn't arrogance, it's sovereignty. He belongs to himself first. That kind of man can't be manipulated with charm or controlled with flattery. And when a woman realizes she's dealing with someone who's not participating in the emotional economy of give to get, it disarms her. In a world obsessed with control, filters, and roles, the raw, unpolished truth of a man who refuses to pretend stands out like fire in the dark. He becomes unforgettable, not because he tried to be, but because he never tried at all. Boundary 5. He doesn't chase closure. If she pulls away, plays games, or tries to manipulate him by creating emotional distance, the Sigma male doesn't chase, complain, or fall into emotional traps. He simply watches in silence, offering no resistance to her departure. There's no pleading, no dramatic confrontation, and no desperate explanations, just a calm acceptance that radiates an unshakable self-respect. This response isn't born from indifference. It's a calculated understanding of value, boundaries, and emotional sovereignty. The Sigma male understands that love, to be genuine, must be freely given, not coerced or earned through emotional tug-of-war. And when someone begins to test those boundaries through manipulation or power games, his instinct is not to correct them, but to protect his peace. Women who are used to men chasing them when they play hard to get often find this lack of reaction jarring. They expect a pursuit, but instead, he offers them the unexpected, complete freedom to walk away. This disarming silence often becomes louder than any words could be. Psychology tells us that people often crave what they can't control, and the Sigma male's refusal to play along turns the table. In fact, this is rooted in the psychological principle of reactance, where people become more attracted to what seems unavailable or emotionally elusive. But the Sigma male isn't trying to be elusive. He simply lives by an inner code that says, if you don't value me, you don't get access to me. That kind of boundary setting is rare, especially in a world filled with validation-seeking behavior. It's not about arrogance, it's about emotional discipline and self-worth. His silence, his stillness, his willingness to let go with grace, it becomes haunting. Because long after the moment passes, she remembers it. She replays the way he didn't fight, didn't beg, and didn't plead. And that memory lingers. It challenges her idea of power in relationships. This is where many women realize he's not like the rest. He's different. He's not interested in winning someone who disrespects his energy. He doesn't fear loss, he fears self-betrayal, and when someone lives with that level of inner strength, they become unforgettable. Not because of what they said, but because of what they refuse to tolerate. Boundary 6. He keeps his world private. He doesn't share his next move. His ambitions, his routines, his internal life, it's not for everyone. He moves in silence, and that mystery is irresistible. A woman who tries to figure him out finds herself intrigued, invested, and chasing clarity she may never get. This isn't accidental, it's the natural result of a man who has mastered self-containment. In a world obsessed with broadcasting every thought, every meal, and every plan on social media, the Sigma male chooses silence. not because he's hiding something, but because he knows that real power lies in unpredictability. Psychology calls this the appeal of the unknown. Studies have shown that uncertainty can increase attraction. When someone is hard to read, the brain fixates on trying to decode them, creating a loop of mental investment. This is why silence can often speak louder than word. For a Sigma male, silence is not passive, it's strategic. It allows him to observe, to listen, and to calculate while others reveal their hand too early. He knows that when you let people speak, they show you who they are. And when you stay quiet, they begin to project onto you, filling in the blanks with fascination, fear, or admiration. To women, this unreadable nature becomes intoxicating. They aren't handed a pre-written script of his life. Instead, they're handed a puzzle, one they feel compelled to solve. Yet no matter how close they get, the Sigma keeps something to himself. He's not emotionally unavailable. He's selectively available. His vulnerability isn't for public display, but for those rare few who earn his trust. This elevates his value, not because he plays games, but because he's not driven by validation. His focus is internal. He's working on things, building his future, refining his mind, pursuing a mission. And because he doesn't advertise it, his every move becomes more powerful, more intentional. Like a chess master planning 6 steps ahead, his quiet confidence makes others lean in. Women don't just want to know what he's doing, they want to know what he's thinking. And that's where the power lies. Mystery isn't about manipulation. It's about having something sacred within you that not everyone gets access to. That kind of man doesn't just attract attention, he commands it without even trying. Boundary 7. He demands respect, not worship. He doesn't need flattery or constant praise. Compliments don't move him, truth does. But make no mistake, he notices disrespect immediately, and he has no interest in entertaining it. You won't see him argue, beg, or raise his voice. His power lies in his silence and his detachment. The moment a subtle jab is thrown, a manipulative comment is made, or a dose of passive aggression slips into the conversation, he doesn't emotionally react. He physically distances himself. This isn't avoidance, it's a deliberate recalibration. In psychology, this is often referred to as strategic withdrawal, a technique used by emotionally intelligent individuals who refuse to enable toxic behavior. Sigma males, by their very nature, understand the laws of social energy. They know that tolerating disrespect even once sets a precedent, so they draw a hard line. Respect is not negotiable. This immediate disengagement sends a silent but powerful message. It rewires the entire dynamic between him and the other person. Suddenly, the manipulator is disarmed, the game falls flat, and the balance of power shifts. This isn't about ego, it's about boundaries. Sociologists have observed that individuals who maintain strong personal boundaries are often more respected, even by those who initially try to test them. This is what makes Sigma males so different. They don't seek control over others, but they maintain complete control over themselves. That's intimidating to those who rely on emotional tactics to manipulate. He doesn't give warnings or second chances for low-key disrespect. His retreat is not a punishment, it's a statement. And when he steps back, others are forced to step up or step aside. In a world obsessed with validation and people-pleasing, his refusal to compromise self-respect is revolutionary. It teaches people without a word that access to his presence is a privilege, not a right. And that privilege can be revoked the moment someone believes respect is optional. So, if you ever wonder why he suddenly goes quiet or disappears, it's not confusion, it's clarity. He's already made a decision. Boundary 8, he will walk alone without hesitation. If the relationship starts to cost him his peace, identity, or direction, he leaves. No announcement, no meltdown, just distance. Because the Sigma male understands something most people overlook. Peace is not a luxury, it's a non-negotiable. He knows that once a relationship begins to compromise his inner stability, it's no longer love, it's emotional debt. There's no dramatic exit, no need to explain. He simply reclaims his solitude like a warrior returning to sacred ground. Psychology backs this up. Men who are secure in solitude tend to have stronger self-concepts and healthier boundaries. The Sigma thrives alone, not because he's antisocial, but because he understands the power in detachment. When most are scrambling for validation, he's refueling in silence. And this makes him dangerously grounded. While others fear being alone and attach their worth to external relationships, the Sigma turns solitude into strength. This self-reliance makes him unforgettable. People may not understand his silence, but they'll never forget how it felt when he left. That distance? It's not coldness, it's clarity. And in that clarity, the Sigma male becomes more than just a man. He becomes a symbol of what it means to never compromise your core for temporary company. He isn't antisocial, he's social, an important distinction rooted in psychology. Sigma males aren't withdrawn or aloof because they dislike people, they simply value depth over noise. In social settings, the Sigma observes before acting, analyzing human behavior like a scientist watching patterns unfold. While alpha males dominate the spotlight and beta males